Okay, YouTube fans, here we are with an update of the backyard garden and the squash that we're growing in a compost box. See, it's in a box. It's a compost I started in the fall that wound up getting thrown in here, and then I planted a squash into it, and you can see way down here it looks like a little zucchini. 1 and 2 zucchini are starting already. So this is not a cucuzza, it's a zucchini. And the potato plants are also growing in this box. I think my first zucchini might be coming right off of this experiment, and that ought to be pretty neat. I'm going to show you the rest of what I got growing on here. This is going to get dug up today. This whole little triangle. I've got a lot of cherry tomatoes I got to plant. For these other squash, I'm afraid that aliens are going to try to take them over or bring them up to their ship, so I put little tinfoil hats on them. There's a tinfoil hat on that guy. Well, tinfoil shoes, rather. That's for the squash beetles. Not the squash beetles, but the vine borer beetle. Okay, I put the little shoes on them, little tinfoil shoes. You keep the vine borer from putting an egg in there and destroying my crops. I had to add a little extra to some. I don't know if you can see. There you go, tinfoil. And tinfoil there. I also have some pepper plants planted in here along with some eggplants, which are doing okay. They probably have a little bit of transplant shock. I'm going to be putting okra back here. Okra is probably going to go right down this trench. I'm going to dig this up. I'm going to make a mound on one side, and I'm going to like a swale, a permaculture swale, and I'm going to plant my okra right into that. They're kind of deep-rooted, big creatures. I'll probably grow some pole beans up those okra, and then I'm going to start working on this little triangle. Here's my other experiment. I think I'm going to call this experiment island over here. There's an experiment. There's a mutant of some kind of strange. Norman. There he is. Some kind of mutant bear dog, something like that. All right, and so this experiment here is it's over a blue tarp. Just the clay soil that I have here mixed with grass clippings and some compost, some worm castings buried right in the middle. Right in this area here, I buried just a big old, maybe 2 quarts of worm castings in here, and I'm hoping that that's going to feed the rest of this. I got some sweet potatoes to hopefully hold things together. Also, you can eat these leaves as well as the tubers. And I've got 2 different kinds of squash. I got a cucuzza and an acorn squash on here. Acorn squash is going to be more of a winter squash that we can hold all winter. So there's that. We're going to take a little walk around. Come on, guys. Come on. Can't trust you back here. I got all kinds. I got to clean up the shed. I might start working on that today. But I got all kinds of these great mature plants. Look at the flowers on this. I believe it's some kind of iris. I can keep my fingers out. Beautiful. I believe this is coreopsis. We'll see when it blooms. We got a bucket osage, lemon balm. Same tour as I took you from last time, just a week later. Pool floats, those grow well. My wife got a hibiscus tree for by the pool. I'm not a big fan of trying to take care of these things. They tend to be a bit of a maintenance problem. I got to get a proper bucket for it, but they are pretty. They are pretty. Come on, watch, move. Grape update. Again, if any of you guys have any, I'm just letting it grow. But here's my grapes. I got just vine after vine after vine of these grapes, and I'm hoping that I'm not supposed to take some of these off. And here's the funny thing, okay? I did not fertilize this at all, okay? This is like the permaculture principle at work. Nobody feeds this. It just grows because it's been here. It's created a slow food web. More of what I believe is coreopsis. I could be wrong. Some kind of sunflower. And this is just growing lush and wild. I got to cut this thing out. This is an invasive vine that I can't think of the name of right now. You guys can answer down below what the name of that is. It's the purple flowers that look like little grape things. They're pretty, but it'll strangle everything it comes in contact with. Sorry if I'm making it dizzy by moving around here. I got to start tying up these. Now I did wind up putting some, in addition to the worm castings, I wound up putting some, regular fertilizer. And now the leaves are nice and green. As to where they were getting more like that at the bottom, I'll pick these off. But we're getting more tomatoes are coming on. See, this one's still pretty anemic. Got plenty of tomatoes starting. I've got to tie some of these up. All right. So you can see where the fertilizer made a world of difference. I know it's not permaculture, but this is in a box. It's a raised bed. This is a completely artificial soil at this time. So yeah, it's a little duplicitous, but you have to sometimes amend your thinking to what you're working with. I got my buckets here. These are bok choy, I believe. I'll probably cut some of these. I had some the other night. It looks great. Cucuza squash. I do not have tinfoil hat on. I don't think the aliens are going to get this right now, but I have to plant it in the ground somewhere and put a cage up around it so it can. Actually, I might leave it in that bucket right there, and then put a circle, like a fence circle around it, and see if that works. We'll give that a shot. My lemon tree that I started from seed. I got 1, 2, 3. I had a bok choy growing in there that I cut and had for dinner the other night. Here's a bucket of garbage, in case you're wondering. My cherry tomatoes have got to go in the ground. I have to dig. I have to create some more area. And my blueberry plants are doing great. All right, so that was 1 bucket of blueberries for let's wash away, $14.99. It used to be 20 bucks. I separated them out, put them in separate buckets, and now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's say 4 plants that are definitely going to make it. This little sucker here is holding on by a thread, so we'll see what goes on. All right. Okay, so here's 2 more of the blueberry plants that I'm just going to call these dead at this point. I'll probably just leave them there and see what happens. You never can tell. Got my herbs in pots there. Cherry tomato there. This is a mix of cherry tomatoes, I believe jalapeno peppers, eggplants, green beans. See, these green beans were kind of yellow. They're starting to, since I took all this dirt out, mixed it all up, put it back in half and half with the compost, and everything is doing great. I believe that was the trick. That's why my other raised bed isn't doing too well. I fertilized these as well. They're coming up a little bit more. We got basil and oregano. About time to give up on the broccoli. Just not going to happen this year, kids. These, whatever grows is bolting immediately. These are edible. Kind of sweet, but something's getting in here and just knocking these down. I think I'm going to wind up giving up on these, pulling these out, putting my cherry tomatoes in here. This is a regular tomato. This is a beefsteak tomato. This plant has just been doing wonderful the whole time. And again, this is an area where I had more time to work on the ground. We don't have any tomatoes on it yet. It seems to be putting most into growth, but we have some flowers. See, this one right next to it, not so good. It's fine. I mean, I think it'll be great when it keeps going. We're having a mild spring here in South Carolina. Rosemary plant. Now that rosemary plant I got from the culinary section of Walmart, and I separated out 2 plants out of one pot. I got one in my sunroom and I got one here. And that works great because I have another video on it. You can go check way back a couple years ago. And if you can't find rosemary for a reasonable price, culinary rosemary you can actually eat, just go get it from the produce section of Walmart and then separate the pots out and you can plant it. You can do it with cilantro, you can do it with a bunch of different things. My cabbages look good. It looks like they're starting to head up. Hopefully it'll head up before it gets too hot. But the tomatoes back here probably shouldn't be here, but they're here anyway. And there you go. So this was kind of a longer one. Oh, this is the bed. This is my problem child bed. You can see all these flowers, and you can see a green bean. There's a green bean right there on my finger. Green beans are starting on this. Sunflowers. This is right outside my bedroom window. I want my wife to be able to look out and see something other than just, you know, plants. I want her to be able to see something pretty. So, and all this up front was in bad shape. I introduced some worms and worm composting, and I will admit I threw some of the extra fertilizer over here. It's kind of not staying true to any one discipline at this point. I'm just trying to get things to grow. And this is green beans and Swiss chard. So that's the update for today. I hope you enjoyed the trip. Hopefully next time I will be showing you new and improved beds that I've dug. I'm going to do a little pullback here. This is the little, between my garage and my house, this little nook area. If you like this video, go ahead and put a like down there. If you can comment. I look forward to reading whatever comments you guys have. And if you want to follow me, I should be doing these about once a week. Thank you.